Good evening. Good evening, Zambia. Good afternoon, Calgary, Alberta. My name is Elias Munsha, and I'm very glad that you could join me this evening. I'm aware that it's about 21:30 Chiwempala time. I'm going to give you a few minutes to share with as many people as possible, and then we are going to have our conversation. It's a little cold here as usual, but we are going to manage. Okay? Thank you for joining me. My name is Elias Munsha. We have a few things to get to today, and I hope that we're going to enjoy our talk. I'm coming to you live in Calgary, Alberta, where I live. Please share with as many people as you can. I do have my Facebook, and so it's coming live on my page as well. Yeah, so it's also coming live on my page, which is pretty remarkable. Okay, if you want to join me today, there is the link. I'm sharing that link right now with my page. In the background, as you can hear, there is some Kalindula playing because that's the only music I listen to, Kalindula. Okay. Yeah, that's the music I listen to. So if it gets too noisy, please let me know so that we can change. Otherwise, we are good to go. I can see that we are sharing. We're at 283. Please share with as many people as possible. I'm aware that somebody decided to post some things, some comments I had made, and so they seem to be angry or whatever it is, and they're saying all sorts of things. I'm not moved by anything that some people want to say. We are focused on what we are doing. Really, we are quite focused on what we are doing, and so we are going to continue doing what we are doing. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me. We have several matters on our agenda today, and so sometimes we take slightly longer to explain some of the things we do because honestly they take time. That's just it, right? They take time, and you guys have the patience. You have the patience to sit through an entire movie for 3 hours, a Nigerian movie, part one, and then you go for another part two and part three. So you can certainly have the patience to sit through just 1 hour, 1 hour of presentation. It shouldn't be too bad. Okay, that's why we can do it in a few minutes. And then the other thing is, law is pretty boring. So there's so many people that get attracted to study law because they think that it's going to be very exciting. No, law is naturally an extremely boring subject because except for very few things that are very exciting, much of law is very dry. And so the reason why I spend time to try to explain to you some of these dry things is because, well, we have to explain. Because if I'm not explaining, you're going to go back and you'll be complaining to say, we lawyers do not take our time to explain some of these things. So when I got called to the bar 5 years ago, I made it a point that I'm going to share the little knowledge that I'm going to gain out of my legal practice to explain very practically to the people. It will be boring, I know, but that's the nature of our profession. It's an extremely boring profession, very boring. Okay, so don't take anything that lawyers, you see lawyers walking around in their suits and you think that it's very exciting and things like that. No, it's an extremely dry subject. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, now I'm going to go to the DPP issue. So I'm going to combine it with the recent police constable that has been arrested in connection with the murder of Mr. Nsama and Mr. Kaunda. The reason why we must talk about this is because I put up a status on my Facebook where I tried to explain a little bit of where the blame should be directed. about what happened on December 23. Where should the blame be directed? Shortly after December 23, I came live to you and I did mention the fact that from my own perspective and from my own analysis, it was extremely clear that blame should lay at State House. This is not something that I'm just saying now. I said it when the murder happened on the 23rd of December. A few weeks later, when the president received the preliminary report, I said the same thing again, that the one who is at fault, as far as this incident is concerned, is the State House. When the full report came out, I said the same thing. You can go back to the videos. This is not something that I'm just saying now. We've been consistent as far as this is concerned. We have put together just common sense, basic common sense. The words that have been used in the past, a pattern of behavior. And that's why I have been saying that there is only one person who is responsible for the deaths of Nsama and Kaunda. Okay? Now, let's go back to how it all started so that you get exactly where I am coming from and why I am putting the blame squarely on the activities of State House and the activities of the president to say that if it take a balungu, tabare take a wino yo, tefya bateke chalo. The reason why we are having all these shootings and police misbehavior is because there is misbehavior at State House. That is what I have stated. This is not new. It's not something that I've just made up now. It is because if it take a balungu, tefyo bateke chalo iyo, tabale teka wino. Ero, omulando wako baleteka bwino efirere ngokuba ati mukyalo mube ekinfulungania ekinfulunfulu na confusion yabo bati bakapokola nomba batampa okushuta n'okwipaya abantu. Okay, so where did this start? All right, where did all this start? We're going to look at that shortly. But just bear with me for a few minutes here, okay? And so where did it start? Here is where it started. The president has taken a lot of money and has bought military-grade armored vehicles for the police. Okay? What are these military-grade vehicles for the police? It's armored, military. This is equipment that is designed to be used where? In war. So that's exactly what he has bought. This year's budget has, if you can help me out with figures here, about $5 billion, 5 billion kwacha, dedicated to what they are calling security. How have they used this money? They have bought new military-grade equipment for the police. They've bought bullets. They've bought rifles and guns. And they have bought specialized ambulances to be used by the police. Previously, I did mention that those ambulances are specialized in such a way that they are not only meant to help the people that are injured, but they've got fridges inside where ngawafwa bakuipaya nokukutola bakutola bakubika muri fimandamanda efyo balungu bashita. Okay? So balungu balishitira bakapokola fimandamanda ifyo yakobe bati iwenga bakushuta bakuipaya bakutola ekitumbi kuchira ekitumbi nga batola kuchibika muri fimandamanda bashita. All right? The question that we are asking ourselves is Zambia at war? If Zambia were at war, wouldn't they be buying that equipment for soldiers? Why are they investing so much military-grade equipment, military-grade rifles, military-grade ammunition, what is it for? It is for them to get ready to do what? To make war with the people of Zambia, to kill the people of Zambia. That is why they've made all this investment. This is not strange. This is not something that is like an afterthought. This is clear investment, not in the security of our country, but clear investment in destabilizing the peace that the people of Zambia have been enjoying. And so it comes as no surprise that the police are using this equipment that President Lungu purchased for them to do what? To carry out killings against our people. Now, some of you are saying that the only person who deserves to be blamed about this killing is that police constable. I'm saying no, it is a cultural issue. The commander-in-chief of the security and armed forces in Zambia is not setting a good example so that the troops, the police follow. Because it is very simple to assure peace in our country. It is the president who needs to put his foot down and model a behavior of peace and security. The behavior we have seen so far is not a behavior of peace and security. Now, the Nsama encounter shooting is not the first shooting. There was the issue of Simunjila. Is it Simunjila? Vespas Simunjila at the University of Zambia, who was killed because she was choked while police fired tear gas in her room. The jury is out about what exactly transpired during that time for the killing of Vespas. Then there is the killing of Frank Mugala, a grade 9 student, who the police say that Frank Mugala was killed by a stray bullet. Shortly after the killing of Frank Mugala, the police spokesperson and the police command came out and they told the people of Zambia that the police are shooting because they are gazetted to kill. We disagreed with that. When the police command comes out and says and justifies police killing on the basis that the police have gazetted powers to shoot, they are not only abrogating the Constitution, but they are actually saying something that is just not true. The police power to shoot does not in any way justify police going to a crowd with live ammunition and begin shooting. We asked the questions: who authorized the use of live ammunition on unarmed civilians in our country? Policing is not just about going to kill and shoot. Policing is about ensuring the health and safety of our people, using means that are not lethal, using means that are not aimed at killing the innocent people. Those are the questions that we were asking. Who authorized police to use live ammunition in Kamanga, in Mandevo, in Chipata compound? Who gave them an order to use live ammunition? Because under our laws in Zambia, a police officer cannot fire live ammunition without authorization. In fact, you can't even have access to live ammunition as an officer without clearance from the high command. Every day, you are supposed to account for how you use each bullet. That is our policing system. That is our military system. There is no available bullets anywhere where a soldier can just load their gun and go on a rampage to shoot. There is nothing like that. So the fundamental questions we were asking: how has our policing changed to a level where now it appears like the police command and the Minister of Home Affairs is justifying the use of live ammunition on unarmed civilians. In December, when we heard ilyo tuwaumfuire mu December ukweba ati bahichirema babeta kukapokola to go and answer charges. First of all, the questioning itself was frivolous. It had no justification. Common sense. Amano fi ayachfiarirwa. If you hichirema bamuyitira okuya kukapokola tamwali mano yo. Elo bamuyitire 2 days before Christmas. Twali mwene twasopololo okweba ati ifi tafire panga mano teine ndelanda. Garabutelo ine ndelanda kuti mwalanda ati yo mkwai munsha uli wa mulomo twalishiba wali kwata pakanwa nasumina. Nomba abalandire fima Catholic bishops ebalandire okweba ati ukuita ichilema in that manner was reckless. Teine niba katolika ama bishops. Okay. Bamwita okweba ati you come elo balanda ati ukeseweka. Now, the role of the police, as far as our rights as Zambians are concerned, is this. The police are not there to try and prevent our enjoyment of rights. The police are there to help us to facilitate our enjoyment of the Bill of Rights. So the police does not exist to stop me from enjoying my rights. The police are there to help me enjoy my rights in a very safe manner. That is the job of the police. So if, for example, I want to protest, the police are supposed to help me protest because the Constitution gives me the right to protest. So when I go to say, police, I intend to protest, the police are supposed to say, how can we help you protest? That is the job of the police. It is not to prevent people from protesting. When the police say that they were not going to let Hichilema come with a group of supporters, they were wrong. Here is why they were wrong. And in fact, even the vice president of our republic stood up in parliament and said that when you are summoned alone to go to the police, you are supposed to go alone. That is not true. It's not part of the Constitution. Zambians have an independent right to protest. This independent right is not dependent on Mr. Hichilema or Mr. Lungu. It is targeted at the Zambians themselves. So supporters of Mr. Hichilema have an independent right to protest his arrest. What the police are supposed to do is this. They're supposed to go to the supporters of Mr. Hichilema and help them in their protest. The police are supposed to say, okay, when that day comes, this is the route we want you to use. And this is the place where you will gather. Find toilets that you can use. Find food, do not litter. This is the road that you must not cross. If you have messages that you want to protest using, you're going to use those, and this is the direction that you're going to use. That is how policing in a democracy must be done. But days and weeks before the summoning of Mr. Hichilema, this is what happened. The Home Affairs Minister, the Police High Command, they warned the members of the UPND, telling them that if they show up at the protest, they are going to be killed. The police and the Minister of Home Affairs, they warned Zambians that Zambians should not show up. And if they did, the police were willing and ready to shoot and kill. I'm not making this up. Days before Hichilema showed up at the police force headquarters, that is what they said. If you attempt to enjoy your constitutionally protected rights, we will kill you. We will shoot you. We are ready to do it. There was no pushback from the president. There was no pushback from the higher ups in the police service. Nothing. It continued on just like it has always been. The lie that Zambians have no right to protest continued. The lie that Zambians must be killed if they decide to enjoy their constitutionally protected rights. Then the day came before the shooting, between 10 o'clock on the 23rd and 13 hours. The day came. The police unleashed military-grade equipment on the city of Lusaka. We are asking, before the shooting, who authorized the deployment of military-grade police equipment on the streets of Lusaka? You tell me. The route that Mr. Hichilema was going to use from his farm, but at the route from there to go to police force headquarters, it was blocked by military-grade police equipment. The police were armed to the teeth. Paramilitaries armed with latest rifles and latest ammunition. Who authorized paramilitaries to have those live ammunition? When Hichilema was on his way from his wherever he lives to go to force headquarters, he was blocked several times, and pictures are there for all to see. At every point that his entourage was meeting, he was being blocked. When a member of parliament, when they reached force headquarters, a member of parliament identified himself to a senior police officer and said, "I am Kangombe, I'm a member of parliament." The senior officer is alleged to have taken his gun and pointed at an MP of our parliament. Who authorized that senior policeman to take that gun and point at an MP? Not at an ordinary person, at an MP. Lawyers for Mr. Hichilema. And so I just want to have a conversation about lawyers. Lawyers for Mr. Hichilema needed to escort Mr. Hichilema to go and answer. These are frivolous charges, completely frivolous. I'm telling you, I reassure you, those things were completely frivolous. Lawyers are going. As they are going, lawyers are ambushed by armed police men and women. When Frank Tayali, a lawyer, gets out of his vehicle, he then goes to a policeman and tells the police, unarmed, "We are lawyers. We came to pick up our colleague." There is a picture which you all have seen. A paramilitary officer aims a military-grade rifle at an armed lawyer. The video is there. Who authorized the use of a military-grade rifle on an unarmed lawyer? Today, there has never been any statement specifically from the Law Association of Zambia, nonetheless, addressing that particular incident. Okay, let's forget about everything else. The incident of a police person aiming a gun at a person who identifies himself as a lawyer. In the video of the confusion, they get into the vehicle and they drive off. Quite all right. We overhear somebody, a police person, telling another police person to hammer one iwe. Hammer one iwe. That vehicle for the lawyers, they drive off and they are safe. Who authorized the use of that kind of force on citizens? That is not to end there. Now we go to the killing, to the shooting itself. For a policeman to shoot, first of all, I've outlined all this. It means then that they were given ammunition and they were given authority to shoot. At the time that this particular gentleman was firing into the crowd, they were superior officers. In Zambia, a constable cannot fire a gun without authorization from a senior superior officer. That was not a lone constable who is walking about with a gun. It was an operation. Which senior officer authorized the firing of the gun into the crowd? When suddenly the shooting happens, and eyewitnesses are saying that there were several firings of ammunition. When that happens, Nsamansama is caught in the crossfire and is killed. Kaunda is also killed. I understand that they were in two separate places. So it will be interesting to find out whether that is the constable who went into both places and shot. It will be interesting to find out whether it is the same constable who is aiming his gun at a lawyer. It will be very interesting for us to know all those facts. When Kaunda is killed, when rather Nsamansama, a prosecutor, Nsamansama is killed, the police show up and they immediately take the dead body of Mr. Nsamansama. Immediately. There were no forensics around. There were no investigations around. People are wailing. There is no securing of that crime scene. Nowhere was it secured. Now, those are the two that were killed on that day, but there were several others who were injured. There was general panic among our people. When we say that the reason why we are apportioning blame at State House, it is not because we are just trying to be malicious. It is because this is not how you govern a state, a democratic state. The president then comes back and issues a statement to say that he is asking for full investigations and he needs the report by Monday, which was just a few days away. We knew there was nothing that was going to come out of that report. First of all, because of the nature of the events that are happening there, what you need is an open investigation by independent people. We now call upon this government to institute independent investigations about what led to that shooting, what happened on that shooting, and who are responsible for giving orders to kill. That is what we are asking. From putting all these pieces together and the way the system of our laws operate, I can only surmise that there is only one institution responsible for this mayhem. It is the State House. I said it. When the reports were given, the first preliminary report, it resulted in the firing of Nelson Piri, who had already been retired. And then it also resulted in the firing of a gentleman who was completely unconnected to the events that had happened on that day in Lusaka, Boni Kapeso. I looked at Nadisa Monanaso Pololanjevere apa tafide panga manwefi. Nga Boni Kapeso apone na moshani mwidi ya shito tariko ito teshive atari kuisari kuchipata nombo ali kuchipata bamutamfisha poshani tafide chitika mu Lusaka. Oba mfishefe ni Nelson Piri. Uliawo ine ulio wachitire wafumishe mfuti kuli MP. Ero barandati nabakwata preliminary report baiba nabakanganja ko batkanganja go ahead and reorganize this police service. There was nothing to reorganize about the police service because the problem is not with the police service. I must tell you, the problem is with the political administrators of our republic. There is a leadership problem. This is not a problem of guns. This is not a problem of bullets. This is not a problem of constables who decides to go a war. This is a problem of leadership. There is no leadership. That is the problem. And if the leadership continues behaving this way, the police are going to shoot again. They're going to kill again. Why? Because what you are doing is you are only dealing with the symptoms. You are not looking at the systemic issues that cause the Zambia police to be this violent against citizens of our republic. That was the first report. We went live. We told you, our people, that this was also a flock. Okay, the final report is presented. And the famous phrase from the final report was the president saying that he has studied the report and he has sent the report to the director of public prosecutions several weeks ago. Was that January 6 or January 16? I can't remember. We came back to you, our people. We told you this is also kumishinga bada. Tamuli, it's not making sense. There is no issue here of the president sending a report to the director of public prosecutions. And in our explanation, what I explained was, this is not, there is no role. I'm trying to get used to the glasses. There is no role that authorizes the president to use an administrative law procedure, which is a report from one of his subordinates, which is within his administration, using his executive power. He receives a report and then he sends it directly to the director of public prosecutions for action. That was irregular. That's what we said. Because what we argued was when the president is receiving a report, he's using a different burden of proof. It's an administrative proof. That report is going to include opinions and several hearsay and things that the Inspector of General Police wants his commander-in-chief to know. And though those reports are part of our democracy, yes, by all means, the executive need to have such reports. But in order to arrest a person, you need something higher than just an administrative report. You need a proper investigation by the police or by whoever officer has been gazetted to do investigations and charge. It is when a person is charged, when you have a docket, that you then now take that docket to the director of public prosecution, because the director of public prosecution uses a different standard when evaluating whether to go ahead to prosecute or not. Police, when arresting, they use reasonable suspicion. We have reasonable suspicion that we reasonably suspect that somebody killed Nsama or killed Kaunda. That is the standard they use. Prosecutors use a different standard: public interest and likelihood of prospect. It's known as the prospect of conviction. Okay, reasonable prospect of conviction. Two standards. That's what prosecutors use. So when we saw a report being fast-tracked from the president directly to the DPP, we told you, our people, that wamifishireyo twalisopolola ukweba ati kulifirubeni apa ngarakutira n'abatumani docket batumine ngani nani bachitire charge pantakwa ba docket. Director of Public Prosecution is not the legal advisor of the president. The legal advisor of the president is the Attorney General. Attorney General eoba kateka benga tumako ba kuipshama question. Director of Public Prosecution alikwata a clear role in our democracy and in our constitution. He's not the legal advisor of the president. So idioba tuele dia report number kuli Director of Public Prosecution, my law. The prosecutors came up And they said they have looked at the docket. We don't know what docket it was. And they say it is insufficient. They've sent it back to the police to investigate further. Mailo. When that happened, we of course say it. That's what I say. It's very clear. The way if in Tantica, responsibility for these deaths is at State House. I don't know, Mbaba, but you evidence. Ngani evidence in Shimulefwa. Ni evidence in Shimulefwa ya kulanda ati nirungu wipe. Ewa bashitire mfuti. Ewa wapera na authority. Ewa wapera nechibereshi. Uchako kutuba mkuipa ya bantu. Neryo bale ipa ya buli no bushuku. The day before badi shibe buli no kune fiare chiteka. And then what to authorize yonse ya ma operations. Apa kuchita question umuntu for a criminal. Epo mwaya ipa ila abantu. And you think if we balelandira kwa abantu okwe baka pokola bela bomfye polo vyachalo kuipaya ati we are just busy bodies, we are just playing. Yesterday ama prosecutors vakana okwe state, but there is nothing that they can do with that. Boy share anymore kuli baka pokola. The following day Baka Pokolati, they have arrested a person on suspicion of murder. I can't specifically talk about that constable, and I believe that he's going to get very good lawyers. But I don't have very extensive exposure to criminal law. But just common sense, it tells you that there is something there. Let's wait and see. Let them prosecute that gentleman and let's see it. Okay? Under the very high standard of murder. And in fact, they're calling it murder, which means it's a very, very serious offense. It's murder. They're not calling it manslaughter. They're not calling it, they're saying it's murder. That particular police person did. That is why we are saying, obwafya mwebo obwafya bulipo kuli bakapokola buli na State House kuli obwafya kulya ni balungu abashirete bwinu ekyalo ndaranda agobati ukuteka kwa balungu kwa madongo efyo bachitafya madongo efyo bateke ekyalo efyo muje bakapokola badishupa bakapokola teko beba fiat mu bakapokola ngamulefo controla group ku controla bwino. Your first reaction is not leka government of lekeni ichireka ichiwalesha na abantu abene kuti wande bebere imumulesha afye fyonse lero kanchi twala ichitira. What we want is a police service that serves the people of Zambia. It's not enough to say at Mugwai because bakapokola bala shooter ku America, therefore you are justified. America is not Zambia. Ni mwebe ne mutuwebo ku America is not Zambia. Ngalelo mwakosa poshano kulanda tiyo firafine fichitika ku America ifure fichitika na Zambia. Ala mweba home. Mweba tuweba tiyo America ya chabe fie. Today even the example ya fio abantu bafuiro kulafua. No. Muzambia tuwasumina mutende. Respect for human life. Okuchindi ko mulopa wa abantu. Not muapera bakapokola tikashuteni kepaeni finama elonga tuwalanda kwa tiyote tulande ko mulandu wanshi. If the people of Zambia decide to re-elect President Lungu, they've decided to re-elect President Lungu. We have nothing that we can do about it. It's the people that are going to choose. But in unfairness, okunyantirira abantu, okulachita confusion. No. Tuiranda po. Nga tuwalanda po at mwala tuka. Ni finishefi mwana tuchita. Muipaye. Mwebaume. Pafu abantu pashala abantu. Kamulefo kuipaye muipaye. Ndebwera ni Zambia. Ni chalo chandi. If you want to do that, go ahead and do it. For what? Should the people of Zambia honestly be fearing the police? Should the people bekale kumunga wefuafwa kumunga muchalo chao. In Zambia, it's the people that elect. Ngakutira vamusala lungu nakairi vamuweke shapo. Nifyo fini fyachitika. Nombe vivya kova tuku gomfya. Ubu kangalo mebwachalo. Emfutishi achalo. Okutitikisha no kunyantikisha abantu. No. Ego nomba tulanda tiyo mkwa inka constable fyaka chave eka chisire shoot nsama. Na imu mwasumina. Mwala asumina okweba chachine nika constable kairefe kabule chifuti kaya mukushuta mumulu kaipaya. Ulia constable ala basanga ama lawyers. Ife baka pitulu kama fyako bati chadi shani. Mwawa no bofe fulipo. Chadi shani. Elio uyu constable bale ndata alishuta. Ashutire shani. Niba mwebero kushuta. Imfuta afumisha kuisa. Ifi polo afumisha kuisa. Aendere shani. Niba mutuwele kudia. After ashuta chadi shani. Niba ile tole chitumbi. Ifi polo fya ipe firikwi. My forensic investigators in Shibuyunji bachita investigate wino. Uko ifi polo fya fumi. After. What happened? Kwali uwale ichingiriro goba chane ewalenga pakuwa tusangwe kuli ububu wafye tukweterero. So I'm not kutumwalande fyo mrefu ayo kulanda. Mama, it's okay. Inendera ndira kofie avena Zambia epera. Ndera ndira kofie goba tule ikala ngevi so tefyo bekala. Zambians echo wakapokola benivye fair epera na imweba Minister of Home Affairs ba Minister of Shani bombereni fya abantu epera. Mwirete chimfulunganya kwa nakalimo people who belong to the opposition fina makufipa ya kufishutaola. Vane, that is not the winner Christo boyo. Members of the UPND bena Zambia. Bantu beno. Bachingirireni. Babombereni. Te kwamba kokula leta message mulepera ama vaka pokola. But it's okay. The lives of UPND members is dispensable. That is not how you govern a nation. Bantu mairo, anything can happen. Na imubutu of in power. If fine tulera ndati vaka pokola babe fair towards UPND. If you tuingeva na imwebene. If they begin persecuting you by PF. Okay, but yosha tukamirandirako. Anso beka lufianye no lufianye twa UPND ba wina. Elo ba tampo ko chitefia bupuba. Ain. Tepa nondemieva. Ababene ba ichirema ba teka. Elo ba tampo ko chita ififine fia bupuba. Nabo bene tukabemina. Mulandu wako baticho tulefuwa yako, icho tuleri lako kuchalo, mulinganya, epela, umulinganya, nech, no kutemwe chalo, ukubombera abantu bonse, all of the people of Zambia, not if ya kuchita divide chalo kwa nakalimo, others are enemies. Tefyo baka mpiongo vale la ndoko wati they are enemies in Zambia. Ukoba, ati mu Zambia, muliama enemies. Tusumine, ati chirifye bwino. Elo bambia ti yo ndero lera munshabuke nimbuka. No kwisandeisa. Kenge nikuchalo chanda. Nga muli bakulowa mulowe fye bwino. Noti fye kubati mule mpange chikwera. Nshiri mwina Zambia te chalo chande. Ngani chinshi tuwakoselapo. Icho tuwakoselapo chako bati. Abantu in Zambia that are paying the price, being killed, sacrificing for the integrity of our country. Nomba ifo fweba yokutari. Tuikale fye, tule tamba fye. People on the grounds, bale bombere chalo, bale lirire chalo. Elo ifo fwe bali ukutali ati yo mkwaipa ntutatuliko twala balabako. Every person who is fighting in our country for a more fair country, for a developed country, for a country that loves its citizens equally, they need to be assured that we Zambians in the diaspora are going to stand with them. We cannot sleep peacefully. No kumvwa bwinwa manone, nefya kudemfwa. Okumvwa bwinwa ati yo, we are okay. We are not okay. We can never be okay as long as some of our people are paying with their lives just to be Zambian and to exist as Zambian. That is why we do what we do, and we will continue doing what we are doing. Our country is beautiful. Our country has vibrant people, and our country can do better. But this idea, this confusion, this insecurity must stop. And who is responsible to stop it? State House is responsible for it. We want the president to begin spreading words of love for everybody. That is his job. His job is to tell the police, follow the Constitution. The Constitution is the first law of our country. Follow the Constitution. Help our people. Help them out. That is what we want to see. That is the greatness of our country. We are not going to accept intimidation. For what? Nireza wapangire Zambia tenoko. Efe akoba mule chuchunganya kututeke mfine ati shani ni Zambia yako alesa ewa bombire ero bonse asa tuleta from different for ebe netwali bize kuli bakasai luba lunda empire to achita cross in Luapula. Bambi babutuka Shaka Zulu inkondo kulia aba pumechi peshe amano babutuka into Zambia. Makololo, they came through into Western Province. Abene bachalo, abene chalo, abatonga mitundu shachitonga, tobasanga. We then formed a country. Okay, they vote wapangire basungu. Blacks we can't continue kulaika la kwana kalimo techalo cheso. Avena kaunda, mkumbula, kapwepwe. They were not perfect people, but they believed in something higher ideals, that this nation can be held together as one country. That is what motivated them. They told the whites to go at if you go to shoot and it's not going to work. Give independence to our people. And they got independence. 56 years later, 60 years later, a fellow black person who listened them I am Zambia. At no, we shouldn't talk. For goodness sake. Aditula bekofie mkwaya pantu nilesa atibadi musara kudilesa. Chachi. Nomberio lesa akusala akutola mufikuru afyamalo wakuchawa amati sotekeko kuteka na mano kuteka no mulinganya kuteka nefunde kuteka no muchinshi noti kuteka nyakwabufi kuteka na lesa. How do you rule with God? Each time we go chakwa lesa chakwa bati wenga bakwe woko bati barecha investigate umunobe. Now we should if you have of that kuba kanya bakapokola timo bakapokola inshirefu ayo ko bati muleto yumulomo bakapokola baya ku Shibuyunji kumbe bapongoshi bakwa hichirema baya mukushikula shikula basango twina mushutu ine twina mushi basa bakapokola kusango twina mushi baya mufitere fyankoko baya mukufuwa ilisha mo mumabala okuya bayimba kwati nimbeba nangu imfuko bayimba tbarefu ya ma weapons njenga ya pamushi ku Shibuyunji And today, that you mkwaita tufure tu alanda po yo, there is something wrong with such police operations. Emisango shimushine shariko before independence. Isha kukontolola abantu, you know, ukukontolola abantu. Why? Nishimlefa irogula kontolola abantu, kukontolola abantu. For what? What we want is freedom, you know, ama irandire, ama isosele, ama yendere. Those are the liberties that our forefathers fought for. Nakaunda talafu washuwa mwebantu mwebo. No kufuata talafu kaunda. Mwambo kula tuweke sham. Tuika lefi. This new law, iya kweba tingawa tukafia omuntu watuko omuntu 5 years. Shirera ndati insele shisuma. Kuri abantu kirerero rini na abantu kana abantu shoba. I'm not saying that yo babi papere in 5 years for what? Nineani pakwati ngawantu kati for 5 years. If you the new cyber crime law, ningwa. Bandu muranda tiyo mwainda ndaranda. This is cyber law. Ningwa. Eilandiro kwebatu muntu nga wamukalifia emotional distress 5 years. Emotional distress 5 years in jail. Is that how you govern people? And nga wapanga fi akantu kamupa Facebook wakabu fi 10 years in jail. Tuikarefi. So we are not so we are not going to be phased out by all these little things. No, we know what we are doing. Okay, thank you. Any comments? Any comments? Okay, so some comments are flying by very fast, so I can't catch up with them. Chiefs endorsing political leaders, I have no problem with that. They can do that. The only issue is if a chief says that if you belong to this political party issue, you are not going to be part of my chiefdom. So I don't care. Anyone else? These glasses make you look brainy. Which ones? These ones? No, but I actually have a second pair. Let me try it. Second pair. So between this one, hey Ben, between that one and this one, which one do you like more? They all do the same thing. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. Check the date bakwetu. Fue chalo turetamba. Which date? Oh, yeah, that's a mistake. That's a mistake, yeah. Okay, I'll correct the date. I think, yeah, I see. There is a mistake there, definitely. Okay, I'll correct it. It's today. So it's February 24th, you know. It's like my software remembers the last time that I did it. Okay. So, so that's what we've talked about. We've talked about the shooting, and the reason why I'm saying it's President Longo involved. Thank you, Leteka. But more involved. What evidence do I have? Pandu euleteka, pampando. Nevionse fi eulechita authorized. So euleteka we. Mukuchita blame nani. Aga inde hichilema. Now hichilema ngateka, now wine. Tuwakularira, fichitire. Oh, that is happening as a blessing somewhere. Why is it that we didn't experience this type of killings during Lupia leadership? No, even during Lupia, there was some shootings in Mongu. Actually, that is what led to the Western Province going for Michael Sat in 2011, because there was shooting by police. They shot at Avalozi. Avalozi wanted a little more cut in the Barotseland agreement. It was a scandal. Yeah. No, the date is a mistake. It's meant for today. And there is no way of me correcting it, unfortunately. Munsha, are you related to John Munsha or Kuchingola? Ale pepa kupente, Nshanga congregation. No, I don't think so. Yeah, anyway, we are going to correct that. Sorry about the mistake. Chitotela Sinyangwe Kaitari is a Chitente lawyer. Which one? Frank Tayali. No, there is a lawyer known as Frank Tayali. He's HH's lawyer, Frank Tayali. So he's the one that the police wanted to shoot. Oh, Linda, you've been motivated to begin liking politics. Thank you. That man is wrong to head the Home Affairs. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much. Maybe another day we are going to look at more things, but today that is all we needed to do and say. Okay. There are some people who are quite excited. They want to get a response from me. I have no time. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. I have no time to entertain mischievous and all these other accusations. I'm told I don't pay attention to that gentleman. I don't see what he posts. It's just insignificant. Completely insignificant. And he can't threaten me. Who is he to threaten me? I'm not saying that abantu abafu abantu kaidi pafu abantu pashara abantu. If he's mischievous, so what? You know, bonse tukafua. No kubola tukabola fechimo chile. Limbi bena bakabola ko bwino. If wecho tulelitira ko chalo epera. Nshilelitira for the next person who is going to pay rent for me. Nshilelitira for the next person who is going to buy me a car. No. I'm not trying to say this person, no. Nderirira kwabo abatushire abo bashutire. Ewo nderirira. Nderirira kwechalo, not my own personal comfort. For what? Aliyo ati njikare muchiyande chikuru. For what? Nangu ati nwana nvara ndipirira ko rent. For what? Ejo nairire kusukuru kwa nkwate kwa kaka company konde bombera. Ndesunga abana epera. So I cannot be engaged with exchanges and debates with insignificant people whose lives depend on handouts they receive from politicians. No. Nadichefya kwena ndiwa kuchwempala. But as a person from Chwempala, shatambukula toshania na kamuntu kakwe bazi life yakwe kulomba kuma politicians. No kubepesha abantu ubufi. Akoti bakapera kufimo. No. Nakana sana. Nine shima pepo. Nine kasesema. Ishfuiro kulachita exchange with little insignificant people who have no interest for the people of Zambia. Their interest is their stomach. Munda mumala mwabo. Interest yabo. Tegoti badi fisa. Noku miebera pobala miebera poat nebo echo mfua ya kofie. Kuweba ati abantu bampere kolo. Badi mieba. Nomba vanshi mukonka noku mfuira ati yo abaye bantu. Na ine mlefu mumbike mumfia kupobati nde yasuka akamuntu wakaba very insignificant. No. Ifu echo turerirako chalo epela echo turerirako chako bate balongo bateke bwino bareko kuteka efya madongo dongo echo turerirako okwe bati mubi omulinganya mu chalo nechite mwiko ichakwalesa echo turerirako ngaya kutire echo mrefu airoko bati mutuipaire po ati yo bakampoka passport wewe ni passport yako anoko. Kutuwa papa mwe ati tukakupoka passport ni passport yako anoko nishara ndefira ndarabi no pantu nishiranda bwino echinyanja tuwatukana so kwipsha ni passport yako anoko nangu bwina Zambia bwako anoko no efyo ndandira nebo ndamibukisha mwebekala chalo kwe bati monene bonse fwe bantu twali kwata abantu abatupata abatu abashatutemwa regardless of what you do there will always be somebody who will talk. Chirawa kwata kuka a little power. Kutu wafuaya tu chiteshani nomba. You settle scores. Kanji kuitafe baparate kapono na eni udia. Na kadia muipae. Na passport yako audia mupoke. That is our human reaction. Nombe funde mwe funde constitution yakana ukweba nangube kateka washani tekuye fimukwebo omuntu ati yo iweisa na kupoka passport chapwa waba stateless. No. It doesn't work like that. It's because iwe as kateka the law wants you okuteka bwino okulingana namafunde tekuye nombe mufua ati wipaye upoke passport tukane utiteshani. No. Take a chap. So ababonsa barira ndati passport. Well, who are you for goodness sake? For goodness sake. Charo chako amayo nebo. Ezambia charo chako amayo. Ero charo chabonse nabambi. So that little person, that little akamuntu akachabe has no hold on me. Abo bene aberesha. Allah. Abo bene aberesha. Okay. Thank you very much. God bless you and God bless our country.